the tabletop takeaway.
Game mechanics on display.
3 designers share the stage.
Pick a genre and we'll play
The tabletop takeaway.
Welcome back to the Tabletop Takeaway. I'm Charlie McCarran.
I'm Trevor Muller-Hagel.
And I'm Ananda Gunaratna.
And today we're going to talk about the second in our Gateway Games series, Azul. And Azul is one that I'm going to just say, look at a picture of the board if you haven't, because I'm going to be describing this very visual game to you.
Yeah.
But thematically, the idea is we are placing tiles of different colors and patterns into our own personal boards. The main way we're scoring is by getting them into this 5x5 grid. And how we're doing this is by drafting from different groups of tiles in the center of the table. There's kind of a ring of circle coasters that are placed out with 4 random tiles on each. And when you're choosing which colors to take, you get to pick one color from a group. So ideally you get maybe a couple or sometimes 3 of one color that you grab off that coaster, and then whatever you don't take gets put into the center, and that's also a drafting area. Then you choose, so to the left of your personal 5x5 grid is some other rows that are kind of like the temporary holding spaces. At the top, there's a 1 space, then there's 2 spaces for the next row, then 3, then 4, then 5. Basically giving you're kind of setting up your own completion goals there. So you can only have one color in each row. And so say I take 2 red tiles, I put them in the 2 slot. That means at the end of the round, if I complete that row of like the holding areas, I'm forgetting the actual term for those.
It's part of the wall.
Yeah,
I think.
So anyways, at the end of the round, you get to bump 1 tile into your own personal scoring area, and then the rest go away back to the bag. And there's lots of different scoring, but essentially you're trying to get as many tiles next to each other as you can, and rows and columns by the end of the game, or you try to get all 5 of the same color, gives you a bonus. And essentially, like, one of the things that makes it work is you have to only have 1 of each color in each row and column. So it's a little bit like Sudoku. And for the basic game, all your 5x5 grid has colors and the patterns like pre-printed on there, so they have to go into certain spaces, which helps steer you. And that's like really where the strategy comes in, is like, what do I need at any given time? There's a lot of layers. So now that you people who haven't seen this are sufficiently confused on what this looks like, hopefully you've played it before, because it's a gateway game.
It is a gateway game.
You know, a lot of people have played these gateway games, and they're good intro games for new players to experience like a little bit more strategic game than they may have played before, but simple enough that, you know, on this game, you're essentially just choosing to do 2 things. It's which color do you want to grab from the center of the table, and which row do you want to put it in. And then there's more complications on the scoring, but even if you don't understand all that, it's been a while since we played, so we were getting refreshed.
How did I get points already? Oh, yeah, it's the end of each round,
yeah.
Right.
Oh,
Yeah.
But you can't really screw it up.
Right.
You can make bad plays, but you can't.
You won't
screw up
really
completely.
break the game.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, so Last time when we were talking about Ticket to Ride, Ticket to Ride's kind of preparation for route building games more generally. And one of the things I realized when I understood how tiles scored in this game is this game is kind of preparation for tile placement games more generally. Because one thing that is quite common in tile placement games is, in a sense, capturing tiles or capturing value from tiles from previous turns. Very commonly in tile placement games, you want to place a tile next to other tiles that have been previously placed, and you're going to somehow get value from that. And that feels really good because you're getting value from work that's already been done. And in this game, it's very simple. When you place a tile, if it's next to existing tiles, you get points for each of those tiles. So, like, when we're talking about gateway games, I think this is a good gateway game for tile placement games in particular because it gets players used to the idea of, oh, I can capture value from tiles that are already on the board.
And there's also something, too, about how the drafting system works where you're trying to plan out future turns for what tiles you're going to want in the future and you'll be able to actually play on your board. Because obviously each row that Charlie was talking about, the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, there's limited space in there. They have to be the same tile type. You can't mix tiles on those, and it can't be a tile you've already kind of scored on the right side of the board for that row. So there's a lot of little pieces you're having to pay attention to, and I really think that helps kind of expand your focus of the game, and can even help with games like worker placement or these more intense like Arc Nova or Red Cathedral, stuff like that, where you have more things going on, and it helps you just kind of spread your focus a little bit more.
Yeah, and the thing that's it also reminds me of the game Sagrada which I would also classify as a gateway game. And talking with Ben at Floodgate, who published Sagrada, something that he pointed out is that game, like I was saying, you can't really screw up because the game steers you into what you have to do for placement. And eventually at the end, you're going to have some like beautiful grid of colors. So yeah, and the draft system is also super simple for people to understand in both this and Sagrada. But
yeah, the draft system, I will say, made me feel very clever because as you take tiles from these rings along the outside, the other tiles are getting put into the center. And so, what's in the center is changing. But, like, there were multiple turns where I was looking at this and I was thinking, okay, well, there's 2 turns in between each of my turns. And probably each of them is going to take one of these offers that's going to kick, say, for example, a red tile into the center, which means by my next turn, there will probably be, for example, 3 tiles in the center, 3 red tiles in the center. So if I take something else, and then my next turn I can take those red tiles that they're going to put in the center, it really makes you think about what are other players going to take. And now, of course, we played on Board Game Arena, where it is quite easy to look at the other players' boards. I suppose in real life it would be more difficult to do so, but I would still want to do so. And the tiles are pretty colorful, so maybe it's not that hard to see. But it's very interactive, actually, more than you would think.
And I also want to add, I don't know if we hit this rule with the center area specifically, but you have to take all of the color of the tile that is there. So if there are 5 reds, you have to take all 5. If there's 7 reds, you have to take all 7, and the other 2 go to your floor, which count as negative points. So even if you get it all in that 5 spot.
Yep.
Or if you don't have space for it at all, then you're just going to take 7 tiles, and it's going to be rough. It's gonna be a rough round.
And also, you apparently aren't even allowed to place tiles in rows where you already put that type of tile, which
Right.
tripped me up on the last turn because I was thinking, okay, I don't care about this row anymore. I'm just going to use it to soak up these tiles I can't use. That was not the case.
Yeah.
I had to just throw the tiles on the floor.
Which is
And
a
walk
little
away.
bit of a catch-up mechanic. I was thinking as I saw how many more tiles Ananda had successfully done than me. But I was realizing like his game is harder because the more you fill, the harder it is for you to get the right things you need.
Yeah.
Whereas I was not completing things, so I had so much empty space still.
And I was in the middle somewhere.
Yeah, it does have that same dynamic as card shedding games, where like as you get closer and closer to finishing, it becomes harder and harder, naturally, because there are fewer options. Right at the beginning, the board is clear and you can go anywhere you want. But then by the end, you need specific things in specific places.
I didn't even think about that, but as that difficulty goes up, the possibility for points per placement goes up as well because you have more adjacency, more columns, rows completed. That's really interesting. I really appreciate that.
Yeah, that's right. Risk and reward are both escalating together.
Fairly linearly, too, not like exponentially, which is nice. Good for a gateway
cool.
game.
Yeah, definitely.
So, yeah, something that strikes me we've already touched on this with this and Ticket to Ride, which we played last, that they both have, like, for entry players, easy to play, but it feels like the next level is predicting what your opponents are going to do.
Yeah.
So, like, this one has the possibility that it could get very analysis paralysis-y when you start to think about the end of the round. Like, oh
yeah.
There's one time when I really wanted to count out what are the possibilities so that I don't get stuck with, like, too
6
many
blues.
of one color.
Yeah.
And that's fun, but also, like, that's probably not what the intention of this game is to get.
It's not
like
interesting for the other players watching you count out the number of turns.
Right.
Yeah. It does do a surprisingly good job of well, I mean, the turns are very short, but it does a good job of keeping you engaged during other players' turns because you do really want to see what's going to go into the middle, right? Because that is changing all the time, and that has a huge impact on what you can do on your turn, which is pretty cool. I mean, that's something that happens a lot with market games, not deliberately, because someone takes a card and then it's replaced by another card, and I guess normally, well, okay, so this isn't so normally. This doesn't feel that great, in part because the card that comes out is not predictable at all. It's, I guess, if you think about it in terms of foreshadowing, your choice is just randomly rewarding or punishing the next player in turn order. But in this game, there is foreshadowing because you can see what's going to enter the market, in the market being the middle of the table, right? The tiles, they start on the outside, but then they go onto the inside, and that's sort of like a second market phase. That's like the replacement. But because they're foreshadowed, it actually feels quite good because you can look at them and expect that certain ones are going to come into play, which kind of sounds like a takeaway to me. now that I'm talking about it, I had something else in mind. But,
I have a takeaway for that, what I just said, but not for the game.
So, well, no. I mean, this is for the game. I think this is. I think this is actually a great way to fix a common problem in markets, which is foreshadow whatever's going to replace the thing that's taken, right? Like, I don't know. Okay, like let's say you have a game with a card market, right? You have a few cards, and I don't know. Each card has like. Maybe there's lots of 2, and you pick one of the cards, and the other card goes into another area where you can buy it. Just something so that logically what is coming out to replace the card that's being taken. so that it doesn't feel so that it doesn't feel as dependent on turn order, I guess, because often with these markets it just feels bad when like you take a card and then someone else gets this really good card that comes out because you cleared a space in the market.
That's a really
my
good
takeaway.
comparison. I really like that because like all the time with deck builders that have like the single row market, 5 cards are out. You get that card that's like, it's fine, and then it was replaced with something you really wanted, and then you never get it because you just gave it to someone else. That always feels terrible. So this one, you are taking something. It's like, oh, he really wants those blue tiles right now. I'm not going to take the blue tile. I'm going to take the red tile, and it's going to flood the blues, and he won't be able to play it unless he takes negatives. So it's fun. It's fun to play with that.
Yeah, I think that could fix that problem potentially.
Yeah. I think another characteristic of a gateway game that is coming up in both this and Ticket to Ride is you really want to play again right away.
Sure. Oh, that's what we're supposed to do. Yep.
Yeah. I don't know what makes games addictive. That's a whole other
randomness.
topic of
Positive prediction error.
Positive what?
Positive
Ananda?
prediction error. That's
Positive
what makes,
prediction error.
Yes, when our brains expect a certain reward and then we encounter a greater reward. That's what really makes our dopamine neurons go haywire.
But if I just got that, I could do this.
So in practical terms, that's usually through learning, right? You have a hypothesis for how well a strategy is going to do, and then it does better than your hypothesis, and that makes you want to play again and try out other strategies building off of that. It's the whole climbing the heuristic tree. That's
Yeah.
Or on the other side of it, you have mystery boxes where you have no idea what you're going to get, so you're pleasantly surprised
Loot
no
crates.
matter what it is. That's kind of the dark side of
The
addictive
dark
game.
side.
Yeah.
Well, and I guess maybe another way to think about that, or it just made me think about how there should be multiple strategies you can pursue. And not that there's that many different strategies in this, but there's at least like different ways you can score. So like if you're trying for a bunch of columns, maybe that doesn't work out. Oh, I got to switch over. I'm going to try to now get all 5 of a color or something. And you have a few different things you can focus on, even in this quite simple scoring. I think my takeaway is related to how your entire layout is printed on the board. Like all the colors in your 5x5 grid are just printed there. This is where these pieces have to go. It's not how I would think to design a game, because especially a tile-laying game, it's like usually you want players to have the freedom
The
to make
creativity.
their own pattern. Yeah, creativity to make their own pattern. But the constraint of it is actually pretty interesting, and that's what makes the whole game work. And it's also just satisfying to fill in and make it look cool at the end.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think selective restrictions, they give the game the interest. And I guess I should point out that there's a backside to the board where it's a more open, like no colors printed on there, but you still have to follow these kind of Sudoku rules about no like different colors in every column. For example.
Takes a little more headspace to track correctly.
So, I mean, it's probably easier to score points because
It is easier to score points.
Yeah.
It's got to be.
Fewer
gotta be.
restrictions,
Yeah.
simpler.
For my takeaway, I really want to lean into what I'm going to call the work in progress side of the board, where you have the rows of 1 through 5, and you can actually hold tiles there between rounds. I think it's just a great little system for showing progress and being able to be somewhere you can put something that may not be 100%, efficient or exactly what you're going for points at that round, but it still has something that you can work on and store between rounds. And I think that's really a clever thing to have in there. If you had to fill each one up perfectly every time, that would feel really restrictive. And I think this really helps open up the game to being more accessible. It's like, oh, I can just put that in there for now, and then the next turn I'll get 2 reds to add to my 3 reds to complete the 5 red. And it's just really nice and really clean. So I really like that idea of making steady progress towards things, even if luck is not on your side that round, or you messed up and you forgot to take the tiles you needed.
Yeah, and I think another nice thing is that because the penalties start out small and escalate, it's all right if you mess up a little bit.
Right.
You feel, if you just get like a couple of the -1s, it doesn't feel so bad, because like you can see, oh well, I could have got -2 or -3, but I didn't, so I'm doing quite well.
Yeah.
And that little comparison, I think, is a useful way of presenting the penalties so that you don't mind taking a few of them, because you can see it could have been so much worse.
Oh, yeah.
Well, one thing I'm thinking about, this is a little bit of a tangent, but thinking about why Azul was such a hit, and it's really solid gameplay wise, and I think visually, I think it just the tiles themselves, it lucked out in that it was one of the first games to be very abstract. Like I think if this game was pitched today, it would have trouble getting signed. Not that it's a bad game or anything. It's just there's so much more competition out there, and if it didn't have the beautiful looking tiles and these like nice plastic and patterns, I think it would be hard for a publisher to commit to a game like this. I don't know. It depends on the publisher, but
the tiles don't just look good; they feel really nice too.
They do.
Yeah,
they do.
Thick plastic. But yeah, it hit at the right time to become a gateway game.
An evergreen.
And it just happened to be the first one that was about tile literally tile placing, I think. Yeah.
Well, I mean, yeah, and I think, hitting at the right time is a way that many games have become gateway games. Like, for example, Monopoly, which I think is a gateway game for almost entirely historical reasons.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yep. Oh, Monopoly.
Yeah. And that one influenced so much.
It did.
I'm curious if Azul will influence as many, well, not as much as Monopoly, but like it still feels actually like a unique game that I haven't seen replicated quite like it.
And I think this and Ticket to Ride have a really big thing in common, and that's no words other than Ticket to Ride has proper nouns and maybe some names and things, but in terms of the actual core mechanics that you're dealing with, you're not reading things, you're not going through a detailed rule set. It's very like you take a token that you can print the rule book in 1,000 languages, easily distribute it to the world, and everyone can pick it up very quickly without having to do a new run of the game. You could just keep the same game, new box, new rules, ship it out. And that's really clever and really handy for gateway games and evergreen games. Mm-hmm. But, yep. Not having to translate 100 cards or more.
No, I just brought that up also because I think about Ticket to Ride and Azul a lot, because my boss at Asmodee often says we need to find the next Ticket to Ride in Azul.
Yep.
And by that, he does not mean like a game that copies those.
No.
All publishers are looking for like, what is the next hit?
What's the next
That
big game? Just
you
get
don't-
that to me. Oh, okay,
Yeah.
sure. I'll get right on that.
Yeah, easy.
Easy, done. No
Yep.
problem.
That is the game designer's challenge.
Have you
Can
heard of
make
bodega cats? Never mind. Okay.
Cool. Well, tune in next time when we play Small World.
Hey, thanks for listening to The Tabletop Takeaway. This podcast is made possible by listeners like you. So please tell your friends and visit our website at thetabletoptakeaway.com, where you can suggest games and mechanics for us to cover next on the show.